What is up, my nerd familia? Welcome back to another episode of Games y Mas, the podcast where we talk about all things board games, video games, and a little bit of pop culture. I'm your host, Vic, and today we're going to be continuing another top shelf or yard sale segment where we look at games and we decide if this game is worthy to be on your top shelf or sadly making the yard sale area where us board gamers are like, no, that's blasphemous. We don't like that. This is all top shelf. So we're here to see that, see if these games are worthy to make it on there. We're obviously taking the lens of biasness because, again, board gamers think that all board games should be on our top shelves to be shown, and the more board games, the better.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see that. And today I'm very honored and happy and excited to have Kim. Kim, thank you so much for joining us. She is the creator of Behind the Beehive Banter, right? Or Beehive Banter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Instagram. For those of you listening or have seen our previous episodes with Carly, Board Game Buzz, this is Carly's right hand man, the behind the scenes. She's the one that's playing all these games and doing content with Carly, and I'm so excited to have her on here. Kim, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Very excited.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited too. I love talking board games.
I'm very excited. We're going to be talking about Race for the Galaxy, 2 to 5 player game, card game. What kind of type of game would you say this is, Kim? Of genre of game?
Simultaneous action engine builder card game.
Something. It's got a little bit of everything on there for sure. But yeah, we're excited about getting to know more about Kim and getting to know more about Race for the Galaxy. So I'm very excited. So with all that being said, guys, pull up a chair, grab some dice, y acompáñame a jugar. Kim, oh my goodness. After a crazy little difficulty, we're back. We're ready to roll, and we're ready to run it. Ready to do a good job here. Kim, thank you so much for joining us here on this podcast episode. I'm very thankful for that. Very honored that you have made the time. I know you're a busy woman. You got your kids, and you got board game content to produce. So I'm very honored that you're able to come here and just speak some board games with us on this humble side of the West Coast here of our little corner on the podcast world here. And so, yeah, I'm very excited here. But before we get started with any of the meat of the podcast and looking into Race for the Galaxy, 2 things we want to do here on Games y Mas. And the first one is we want to ask our famous icebreaker questions. And I say famous to all 5 of you guys that are listening. Famous to you guys. They're not very famous, but I'd like to ask you questions just to get to know you a little bit more. First part of the question is, what is your favorite board game of all time? Now, as a board gamer, I know it's a tough question. It's a loaded question because you have a whole list of games you wanna list. So what I like to do is we can do top three board game of all time. It could be, again, for those listening that are trying to listen and are wondering what constitutes a board game. I'm including dice games, card games, tabletop games, party games, all of that included. So that's the first part of the question. And then the second part of the question, Kim, is what is your favorite video game of all time? Again,
Okay.
we're a nerd podcast here. We love video games. We love board games. And so when we say video games, again, it could be anything from a console like an Xbox, PlayStation, or a computer game, PC game, or even I like to include arcade games. An arcade game that you'd like to go back when we were younger. When any arcades it's a game that resonated with you. Again, we can do top 3 if you have any top 3 for those, or if you got a single one, we can go with that. Or if you're not
Okay.
an expertise in video games, we can go with that. So, Kim, the floor is yours with the icebreaker questions. I'm very curious to hear what these answers are. So go ahead.
All right. So my top 3 board games as of, I guess, right now. Some of them have been. One of them has been my favorite board game for forever. I guess it feels
Yeah.
like. So it probably is like my number 1 board game of all time, which is Race for the Galaxy. Um, I and I mean, obviously, we're going to get more into that game, but I just love that game so much. And then my number 2 actually just came out. It's my number 2 right now.
Okay.
Because I'm currently just obsessing with this game and I like it more than any other. It's like I am so giddy about it, and a game hasn't made me this giddy since probably like Race for the Galaxy.
Right.
And it just came out in January. It's by Rio Grande Games. And that's Moon Colony Bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's jumped
Okay.
right up to my number 2. I'm like, maybe I
Oh.
just like really like space themed games.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know,
for
but
sure. Yeah.
it's so good. Yeah, so fun. Simultaneous action. Carly and I just did a live playthrough of it.
Mhm.
That is on the channel, and she's just doing a big giveaway for it too. So
Nice.
it's so fun. I'm like, I
Yeah.
already need. My only complaint about the game right now is that I already need like an expansion for it.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah,
Oh,
I'm like
okay.
that's my only complaint. I'm like, I already just
Oh,
need more content.
you need more content. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
that's a good problem to have right there.
Yeah, and then my number 3 is one that me and my husband enjoy playing together. Um, it's probably the game we've played together the most, and we've played it at game night a bunch with friends, and um, our kids have gotten old enough where they can play it with us now too.
Okay.
And it's a cooperative zombie fighting game, and that is Zombicide.
Oh, I love me some Zombicide.
Yes,
Oh, I love me some zombie.
recently, like last year, we worked on adding a lot of the expansions for Zombicide, and specifically Zombicide Black Plague.
Okay. Yes.
That's what we have, and then we added like Green Horde to
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
collection, and Friends and Foes. And when you just get all of them together, it just gets like crazy, and you can do even more
Yes.
fun stuff, and
Yes.
it's really fun.
Oh, I love me some Zombicide. Zombicide is so much fun. I have the
Yeah, it
first one.
is.
I have that one. I think I have the Prison Break one.
Uh-huh.
And I just recently got the Marvel zombie one. I got the
Oh
Marvel zombies.
yeah, I was listening to a video about that. I'm like, maybe that one would be pretty fun to play.
It's a fun one, but it's man, like I don't regret buying it for sure, but I regret getting it because now I want like every single expansion. I
Oh yeah,
want all the heroes. I want everything. I went over to a buddy of mine's house and he had everything. He had every single expansion for Marvel Zombies, and I was like, I need all of that. I need all of
yeah.
that right now. And then my wallet's like, you don't need none of that because you can't afford none of that. I'm like, oh, come on,
You're
please.
like, but it's a need.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly. So I'm like, but it's a fun one. It's a cool one. It's a good little take. Now you play the zombies, and you're trying to take on the Agents of Shield and stuff. So that's cool. And then the expansion allows you to be the hero, so you can be both. It's really
Hmm.
interested. Zombies a fun one. I've seen your content, yours and Carly's content about the Moon Colony's Bloodbath. I'm very
Uh-huh.
curious now, and I want to play it now too. So hey, maybe a future episode we can do on that one,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I love it. It's so good.
Yes, and then Race to the Galaxy, number one. Yes, a game we're going to be talking about here shortly. That I'm very excited to dive deep in with you. But okay, so there you guys have it. That's Kim's top 3 board games. And let us know if you have played any of these games. Let us know your experiences in the comments below. I'm very excited. But I'm very curious about your second one. Any video game obsessions you've had lately or have had in the past, anything like that?
Yeah, so I am a Zelda stan. I've been playing Zelda since Nintendo 64, with
Nice.
like Ocarina of Time and
Mm-hmm.
the
Majora's
mask
Mask.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the Switch, playing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Those are amazing games. Love them. Probably spent too much time playing them.
Yeah.
Um, and then my go-to like relax game when I just want like a cozy video game, cozy evening is Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap? Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love that one.
that's an old school game. I love that game.
Well, the new one that was
Oh, there's
released
new
a
one.
couple years ago
Oh, that's
on
right.
the
That's right.
Switch.
Yes. Okay.
That was
Yeah.
actually the reason why I bought the Switch.
So
Was
just to get Pokemon.
was when they released the new Pokemon Snap because I played
That's a
Pokemon Snap on the
yep.
N64 as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect reason to buy a Switch for sure.
Yes.
And Zelda, and Zelda too, but Pokemon Snap for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Zelda's so much fun. I remember memories of playing Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I would spend like a random, like, I don't know why I would do this, but like random amounts of time on Ocarina of Time, just playing the Ocarina. And like I wouldn't even like do more of the story. I'd just be playing the Macarena and making like weird beats. I'm just like, this is fun. I like this.
Uh-huh.
This is cool.
Well, I mean, as a kid, that is like
Yeah,
fun to do. Just like
exactly
I
right.
did the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah. I'd be like, like all like disoriented. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And my cousin's like, are you gonna do any of the missions? I'm like, no, I'm good. I just like playing the Ocarina. That one's fun, yeah. And then Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Oh man, those games are massive. Those games are there's like so much to do. I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed when I play those games. I'm just like, I don't know what to do next. There's so much stuff to do. But I love them. They're great choices like that. Pokemon Snap, fun one again. Yeah, N64. I remember playing that one. The old school one. Memories, taking pictures. It was such a simple game. Just you go on, just take photos of Pokemon in their habitats, and
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, and
It's just fun.
it's such a and you said it perfect. It's such a cozy game. It's like one
It
of the
is.
cozy games to play. And just I'm like, all right, I'm having a good
Yeah.
time.
And the new one that they released for the Switch, like it's so beautiful. Like,
Oh really?
yeah, it's just like a really beautiful game too. So you're like
Hmm.
going on the paths and exploring the map and interacting with the Pokemon and discovering new things. It's
No,
just, yeah,
definitely.
it's really cozy.
Definitely great selections there, everyone. But thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, so there you have it. Also for the video game section here, we have Legend of Zelda, the whole series.
Hmm.
Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, and everything in between. And then we have Pokemon Snap as well. Great cozy games, great selections, awesome selections, Kim. A plus for those selections on the board games and the video games for sure. It's like that. But now we'll move on a little bit to a little bit more of the introductions here of let the listeners know who is Kim. Who is Kim? You're the creator of the behind the Beehive banter here on Instagram. You work alongside with Carly and
Hmm.
providing a lot of board game content. I love your content. I love when you post. It's so much fun. So
Thanks.
it's so real and gritty. I love it. It's so cool. And you're working with Carly. You're also part of the Honeycomb Club, right? The other one that you guys created as well.
Oh yeah, her board game book club. Yeah.
That one's also cool and stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to give us a little spiel of who Kim is and your content that you're making, we'd love to hear from you for sure.
Yeah, so I'm Kim. Um, and I have always loved board games. Um, when I was like 8 years old, I mean, this game was technically a card game, but when I was like 8 years old, our family got a copy of Apples to Apples,
Hmm.
and I was obsessed with that game. I like
Nice.
wanted to play it all the time with whoever would play it with me. I would want to play it, and then
Hmm.
I'd get together with my friends, and we would play. Oftentimes, we would play games like as kids. We played. There was like a silly game that we played. It was like it was like a weird dating game, but it was a
Oh,
board
okay.
game. And then I would play like Scrabble and party games like uh, Imagineif and
Hmm.
Balderdash and all those games. And then by the time I
Yeah.
was 17, I was introduced to Ticket to Ride,
Oh, okay.
Settlers of Catan, and then
Okay.
Betrayal at House on the Hill. And
Oh,
those three games just like floored me. Like,
yeah.
what? These are,
Welcome.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, these are so different than what I had played before. Um, and I just like, again, like it was like the similar thing when I played Apples to Apples for the first time. Like, I just
Okay.
couldn't get enough. Betrayal, though, to be honest, gave me a lot of anxiety because I hate
Oh,
being the
really?
traitor. But
Oh,
but I would play with my family. We would always
yeah.
just have so much fun, and we'd get like super thematic with it. Um, and then so that like started me on my board game journey. And then it just so happened that shortly after I got married, um, and we made some friends with people at church. One of our friends hosted a weekly game night, and he demoed games for Rio Grande Games.
Okay.
And so he was always teaching us new games. And it was after like meeting him where I joined BGG
Hmm.
and like started watching the Dice Tower videos. Like, and
Yes.
when they were still kind of like sketchy, like not like
Yeah.
sketchy, but like not as professional as they
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just, yeah, like it just started me on this my obsession, I guess. I was like,
Yeah.
there was no going back after that point.
Yep. Yep.
So it's like my board game journey up until this point of when Carly moved to Connecticut a few years ago, and we met through church, and she happened. We had like a discussion, like, "Oh, you love board games? I love board games."
Yeah.
And had started her Instagram channel, and then she was like, "Okay, I'm ready to start my YouTube," and she got her first like game that was sent to her. I think was Stonemeyer.
Okay.
I think they sent her a copy of Expeditions, and she was like, "Hey, I know you love board games, and I need someone to help me learn this game. So you want to like learn it with me?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Duh! Like, of course I'll learn it with you."
Yeah, of course.
And that kind of like started our board game journey together,
Okay.
for me and Carly. Because after that it was apiary, and then I've lost track now. But those were like
Yeah.
the first two that we played and like learned together, I think.
Yeah.
In apiary was actually the first time I was on the channel with her, was for that review
Okay.
that we did. Yeah. And obviously it's kept going, and she's just gotten bigger, and like she's just grown so much that we're like, yeah, let's make a sister channel on Instagram for me too. So we actually came up with the name Beehive Banter together. Because I was like, I feel like I'm like the Instagram husband, except for obviously I'm not the actual husband. But like that's kind of how I feel like my role is. Is the Instagram husband. And that way it's like people wanted to like get to know me outside of Carly a little bit, or also like because she's pretty professional with the content she produces. I was like, mine can just be more fun, more low key, just more like, this is what we're doing.
Let your hair down and relax.
Yeah. So that's what got started Beehive Banter. It's just, kind of meant to be a sister channel to Board Game Buzz.
I love watching your content. Your stuff is awesome. And just getting to chat with you and talking board games is just an honor. It's so cool and very cool. And
you're so kind.
Oh no, of course.
It's an honor to be here today. Thank you.
No, the honor is mine, and I love talking board games, and I love watching your content and your posts and stuff like that. It's so cool. I love both of you guys. Both you and Carly, you guys are so awesome. You guys are good. You're doing good stuff. You're doing the Lord's work right here. We're doing all that stuff. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's the creation of Beehive Banter. Go give them a follow too. I'll leave a link below if you guys are interested in following her content. She's got some good stuff. All things board game, and it's just as real as it could be. And it's awesome, cool. And then also go follow Board Game Buzz as well. Go follow Carly. She's doing some awesome work. She's doing some lot very enthusiastic about the hobby. It's a wonderful hobby, so how could you not be? It's such a fun hobby. With all that being said and everything, yes, we got that. We got to know a little bit more about you, Kim, and your creation, your board game journey. And so I'm very excited here to talk about one of your favorite board games, Race to the Galaxy.
Yes.
It's a very, very fun game. I've had the opportunity to play it on BGA. So shout out to you, BJ, for having it on there, because otherwise I'd be like, I don't know how to get my hands on this game. Obviously board game, my local board game shop, but I'm very happy that the convenience of having it on there. So we're going to be doing, a top shelf and a yard sale segment here on Race to the Galaxy. Before we get into the questions here, Kim, if you want to give us maybe like a 2 to 5, or however long you want to take, of the explanation of what is Race to the Galaxy. For those that are listening that have never heard this game before, they don't know what this game is. We'll let the expert here tell us what Race to the Galaxy is. So go ahead, Kim, if you want to let us know what this game is.
Yeah, so Race for the Galaxy is at its core, it's a card game, but a multi-use card game, and then simultaneous action game. So all the players are, you have a hand of cards. I'm not even sure if you can call it a hand necessarily. You have a hand of cards that you get to do things with, but then you also have your action cards. So each turn you'll pick one of your action cards, and all players will reveal simultaneously. And then I think one of the things that is like so fun about this game is that you get to do every action that is revealed on the table. So if I want to explore, which is like the drawing cards action, I might play my explore card, but then if someone else does a building settlement cards, I can still explore, but then I also get to build a settlement still. So
Okay.
I love that aspect of the game. Maybe that's getting ahead of myself,
No, no
but
worries.
that's kind of like, and then you're racing to first person to either build out a tableau of 12 cards or when the pile of victory point chips is gone. So those are the two game end triggers. So
Okay. Okay.
um, so you're just like, yeah, racing to either
Mhm.
deplete that stack or get your cards out as fast as
Mhm.
you can.
Okay. And that's the 2 to 5 players, correct? Yes.
Mhm.
Two to
Oh
five
yeah,
players.
2 to 5 player game.
Okay. Do you think? What do you think is the best player count for this game being played?
Honestly, I think it plays excellently at any player. I think you can
Any
play
player?
it 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Okay.
Um, when you're playing it at 2 players, you get to you pick 2 action cards from your hand,
Okay.
and then instead of 1, so you still get to do at least 4 actions each turn. And I don't feel like that. Uh, like there are some games that give like that play better at 4 players, and then they
Yeah,
change the rules slightly for 2, and you're like,
for sure.
yeah, it could work, but it doesn't work that well. I don't feel that in this game at all. Like
Okay.
I would I have played it at 2 players multiple times, and it
Yeah.
doesn't feel that different than playing it at a higher
Playing
player
multiple.
count.
Okay, for sure.
Hmm.
Okay, so awesome. Thank you so much for that. And there you guys have it. That's the bit of a little bit of a rundown overview of what Race to the Galaxy is. If this is a game that you already got convinced to go get it, go get it. Go check it out. It's a fun game. But if you want to stick around and see if this game is worthy to be on the top shelf, we'll go ahead and get started here with the questions. For those listening for the first time, we've developed 8 questions to see if this game is worthy to be on your top shelf. In order to be a top shelf game, it has to meet at least 6 of the 8 questions, or if it gets all 8 of 8, it's like a mega top shelf game, which we did with Flamecraft. Amanda was able to prove her point to say that this was a top shelf game for Flamecraft. So let's see if we can get 8 out of 8 here questions. Again, we're doing it with the lens of a intermediate board gamer, beginnerish board gamer, to see
Hmm.
they don't know more. They don't even know what a euro is. They don't even know. They've never heard of that. Or they never even know what worker placement means like that. So this is a game that we're trying to explain from that point of view for those guys that are first time listeners that don't know or never even heard of Race to the Galaxy. This is dedicated to you guys to see if this is what worthy game to be on your top shelf. We'll let you guys decide for yourself, but we'll let Kim drive it here with the answers here. I've only had the privilege of playing this game twice on BGA. I've had fun both times, mostly because I won. So hey, in your face, Raul. But I'm itching to play again a lot. But we got to get some games going on BGA, Kim, if you're on there
I
too.
was gonna say I'll play it with you.
Let's
I'll
play.
play it.
Let's run
Let's
it.
do
Let's run.
it.
Let's get a little competition going for sure. Let's see if I can take down the master. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and get started with the questions here. And then also, Kim, feel free if you feel like a question here maybe needs to get revamped or evolved, or maybe you feel like it should be worded differently, like this. I'm always open to changing this rubric. I'm always open to opinions and stuff like that. So if you ever feel like, oh, that question's a little tough, maybe if it was worded this way, it might be changed this way. Let's go ahead. Go ahead. Feel free. All your input is welcomed here, and of that. And so, yeah, very excited. But we'll get started here. We'll get started with the first question here, which it's pretty straightforward here. But the question is this game an easy game to learn or to teach, or is it a game to understand? Is this a game where if you pull it out and you have the rules, are you able to understand what the rules are trying to convey, or is it a game where I like to say you need an English degree because you don't understand what is going on. You need to understand what the complexity of these games, these action stuff. Or is this game that you're able to teach it to like maybe someone that's brand new to this world? Kim, what do you think? What do you think? Is this a game that is a yes on that, or might have to fall in a no category for this one? What do you think?
I it's tricky for me to answer
Mhm.
because I I think you have the right person to explain the game. Like, I mean that can make or break a game in general. Like
For sure.
having someone who teaches the game well,
Right.
um, and is able to uh, like be clear with the rules and able to tie in thematic elements into their explanation. I know that
Hmm.
that can help a lot for
For
learning
sure.
games. So at its core, I think like you can learn the rules and know what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
at like a simple level. But that being said, I do think it takes like you have to play the game
Mm.
to like learn it, and it
Right.
takes several playthroughs before
Mm-hmm.
you like it really starts to click, I think.
Clicking. Okay.
Um, so that one's like it's a gray.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no worries. I can always chime in and help you out here with that one.
Yeah.
So I learned it through BGA and the video and
Hmm.
explanation of it as a first time playing it. Um, if I'm looking at it through the lens of like intermediate, I want to lean more towards like the no aspect of it, mostly because of just like how the setup is of like your rounds and how it's set up, how like everyone can do it. Like it could get a little confusing because I know watching the video I was getting a little confused. I'm like, wait, so then I can do this action, but I can also do
Hmm.
all of these actions. Like, wait, I don't understand what's going on. Um, I mean, obviously, as an avid board gamer, I picked it up really quick. I'm like, okay, we can play. But if we're looking at it, it's like this is someone that's new, that's under like wants to get into like maybe this type of gaming. It might take someone either video to teach you, or or it might take a Kim to bring along to show you how to play the game, rather than
Uh-huh.
if you're doing it by yourself. I want to lean a little bit more towards no, but I'm gonna leave it to you. What your final answer might be?
You're probably right. I think that because if I think back to myself over 10 years ago when our friend Tad, he was the rep for the Rio Grande games. He's the one that taught it to us.
Mhm.
He's like, what you need to do is just take it home with you and then play it like 10 times.
Oh,
And
okay.
like, and that's like what we ended up doing.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, so I think like it probably, if you're an just being introduced to board game. Like I don't think of it as like a heavy game
No,
or
for
like a
sure.
complex game, but I think because it is pretty unique in what it
Yeah.
does, that the concepts, and then I guess the iconography. I think that's probably a
Yeah.
big thing too, is the
Yeah. Yeah.
iconography
Yeah.
on the cards that can make like the entry level
Hmm.
difficult, if
Right.
that makes sense.
No, it's perfect. Perfect. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, I was also struggling a little bit with the iconography. I mean, obviously BGA does a good job where if you hover over it, it'll tell you what it
Hmm.
does. But if we're looking at it like live, it might be a little bit. I'm pretty sure you're probably going back to the rule book to see what's going on. What does this each mean?
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, if we're going with the no, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, there are games that are not like super heavy games that like are also kind of like a bit of a rough teach. It's
Yeah.
more of like we got to play repetitiously a lot, and
Hmm.
to some people that might be a turnoff because I'm like, oh, I don't want to keep playing this game to get it. Like maybe I want to like get off right off the bat. That those are to the very few of you, because I know if you're listening and you're a
Hmm.
board gamer, you want to play this game or we want to play more. But again, we're
Hmm.
looking at people that are outside of the realm of this hobby. Yeah, we might go with a little bit of a no, which is okay. Don't worry, we can still make this a top shelf game. It's just the
Yeah.
one. We'll get the hard questions out of the way here. We'll go on with this. So we'll go no with the first one. We'll move on to the next question here. Two and three can kind of get a little bit like combined as one question, but I
Okay.
split it up, and I'll explain it a little bit. So I'll tell you what both questions are, and then I'll explain a little bit about them, and then we can dive into each of the question itself separately. So second question is: does this game have good game components? How are the cards? Is the quality okay? Is it something that was maybe kind of is kind of like just really quickly printed out, or the tokens? I'm not sure how the game has with tokens. How are the tokens, or are they just simple just cardboard cutouts that were kind of like just quick and done? And then the third question is, does this game have good game design? So when I'm saying design is, how's the artwork? How's the artwork on these cards? How does it look? Is it a pretty game to look at? Is the box really nice to look at? Is it, is the game designed beautifully? Is it eye pleasing, or is it something that was just like kind of just slapped on there? It's more the game is heavily relying on its mechanics rather than its design. So that's why I kind of split it up with components and design with artwork, because
Mm.
I feel like you can combine the questions, but I kind of want to break it down like that. So we'll go with the second question of components. What do you think? You have more, obviously, you have more experience with the components. I've only dealt with it digitally wise, so for me, it's like I can't really have a say on that because it's just like it's just there. I mean, it was beautiful. It's nice, beautiful artwork, which we can
Hmm.
with the third question. But component wise, do you think is this a game that is a big wow factor, or is it kind of just like, nah, it's not a strong suit? Yeah.
I would say because it's a card game, it's not like it has like an impressive table presence. Like
Right.
some games you take out and you're like one that I think of that has like a wow factor and components is Flock Together. Like the components for that game, I felt like were very impressive,
Hmm.
and everything they did for that game. Um, so if you're like thinking of just like wow factor, you might just be like, oh, it's a card game.
Yeah.
But the cards themselves, I feel like they're a nice size. They're not too small, they're not
Hmm.
too big, and you shuffle a lot
Yeah.
for it being a card game.
Yeah.
And our cards have held up. I mean, there's some wear on them, but they're not.
Right.
We don't have them sleeved,
Hmm.
so they're like pretty sturdy, like good cards.
Yeah.
Um, and then the only other component are like the victory point chips,
Hmm.
and they're sturdy. They're cardboard, but they're like they're not thin.
Right.
Like yeah, they're like a
It's like
good
good quality.
good quality.
Okay. Okay.
And then I think if you like space theme,
Hmm.
then you will love the artwork in this
Artwork.
game.
Okay.
I think to me the cover is really pretty.
Hmm.
The like the blue and the starriness. I have to like
Hmm.
go look at it.
Yeah.
I also like just the font for Race for the Galaxy, like 'cause
Hmm.
that's on the back of the card. I like
Yeah.
to me that's really eye catching, um, and I like the way that like the font grabs me in. It's like blue but like outlined.
Okay.
Almost kind of reminds me of like Tron a little bit
Oh
in the
yeah, yeah,
way
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's
Okay.
um,
Okay.
made, I guess.
Okay.
So I personally love the space theme, love the
Hmm.
artwork, like
Okay.
the cards. They all
Yeah.
feel pretty like um, well done.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, I agree with you. I think the design, even just looking at it through the digital aspect of it, looking at the cards, I feel like each card has like a really nice, like a. I feel like you can build like a backstory on each card because of like how the pictures are, how it's
Hmm.
designed. I think it's a good immersion when it comes to you, which is a later question that we'll get into. But I think it's like a. I like the artwork. I was very impressed with the artwork. I think it was really cool. It's not something you could easily with this game. You could easily kind of just make it bland, where it's like, oh, here's a planet and here's like some basic, you know. But I think they took some time with the details a little bit, which is good. Component
Yeah.
aspect wise, I want to lean a little bit with like a very low yes on that one.
Hmm.
Mostly because from what you were saying with the cards are nice, the components are there. Not very big components. So this question kind of gets a little bit more some leeway because since it's a card game, most card
Yeah.
games are just very basic. There's not very big components going on with this one. So
Right.
that could be a plus for new gamers because they don't get overwhelmed with so many things going on. So I think this is a
Yes.
good yes with the components, which is like, yeah, you just have cards and just some components. That's all you got to worry about. You don't have to worry about
Hmm.
placing this miniature down or placing this down. You know, it could be very overwhelming. Like Zombie Side, I think could be a very overwhelming game sometimes because you have so many miniatures everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like I was thinking of Age of Innovation.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, like
Oh,
we
yeah,
pulled that game out to play, and there's so many like pieces and
yeah,
components for that
yeah,
one, and you're just like, ah! Like
yeah.
where you
Like, what do I do? Yeah,
like
yeah,
even though they're like nice and they're high quality, like
yes.
it still can be it can be overwhelming.
No,
So
I agree.
um, it there's pros and cons
Hmm.
to
Hmm. Hmm.
it.
Yeah. So I would go, yeah, with the components question. I think it's like a very low yes, but again, we're giving it a little bit more slack because it is a card game, so the
Hmm.
rules change a little bit. Design, I would go with yes as well, because I do like the pictures and I like a very like I'm a very picture guy, so I like looking at cards and thinking, oh, this is really cool how they did that.
Hmm.
Kim, I'll leave it up to you. Those are my little 2 cents, but you're the final say on this one. What do you think?
I say yes because I mean I personally wouldn't change anything about it. Like
For sure.
I don't have any. To me, it's perfect the way it is.
Okay, perfect. There and you love it. You love those type of games. You love those words.
Mhm.
You don't want to change anything about it. Which we'll go with the fourth question here. Is does this game have good replayability? Is this a game that you can play over and over again, and it'll be obviously the mechanics will still be there. Obviously, the
Hmm.
win conditions will still be there, but the strategy change each time you play. Is it like, okay, I'm gonna go with this now? I'm gonna go with this. My standard of replayability is, you mentioned it earlier, is Betrayal, House on the Hill. 50 different ways to play that game, obviously.
Hmm.
Get the expansion, you add different ways, but it's always something fresh, new whenever you're playing. Obviously, the mechanic's still there. You're discovering the house, figuring out what's going on, but the storyline will always be different. Um, so that's my high standard. But when it comes to replayability of this game, is it a game that you feel like whenever you play, it's not going to get stale really quick? You'll always have different strategies going in. Um, yeah, so of that nature. So what do you think, Kim? What do you think about this game, replayability wise?
I think it is very replayable
Hmm.
because maybe you're not always going in with a different strategy, but maybe you're going in trying to master a specific strategy. The starting worlds that you start with can change from every game, and those kind of help you. Like you can, they can help you aim for the strategy that you want to go with, but there also isn't like one set way to win
Right.
either. I mean, I've been playing this game for over 10 years and I still don't feel like I've like mastered it.
Master,
Like
nice.
I don't win every time I play. And in fact,
Right.
my recent games I've lost. I haven't won it for a while because it's
Yeah.
still um and just the fact that like to it plays quickly as well. Like it's
Yeah.
a quick game.
Yeah.
So and it leaves you like playing the game, like you played the game and you're like, oh, I could easily like I played it through one time. Oh, let's do it again. Like
Do it
let's
again.
play it through again.
Hmm.
Um, and almost like every time we do pull it off the shelf and we play it, that happens. Like, oh, let's play it again. And that
Play it again.
happens with the people that we play with at game night.
Hmm.
Um, and so to me, like it's got and there are expansions for it too. So there are things that you can do to like if you get like kind of after playing it for so many times, if you get a little bit bored with the starting deck that is in the base box, then you can add the content to it. But I
Hmm.
mean, I think it. I don't think that is necessarily. I think it could you just play it again and again
Yeah.
and
Yep.
again
Yep. Yep.
and you
Hmm.
can do the race strategy, you can do the
Hmm.
army strategy, you
Hmm.
can do the
Yep.
production and development. Like there's just there's so much
There's
that
so
you
much.
can
Yep. No, I
explore.
agree. Yep. Yep. I definitely agree with that. It's a game that I felt like I haven't even like scratched the surface on. But I mean,
Oh
obviously played it
no. If
twice,
you've
but I'm
only played
like,
it twice,
yeah,
you
it's
haven't.
yeah. I got a journey, and I'm looking forward to a lot of game nights with you. We're playing that one on BGA for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it's funny you said it because it is a game that when we played it the first time, it was quick, and exactly just how you said, we're like, oh, let's run it again, let's do it again, let's do it one more time,
Hmm.
let's play it again. And like for me, that's ultimate top shelf. Whenever like you have like a group of friends that are like, oh, you finish a game, and they want to go, hey, let's play that one more time, let's play that again.
Hmm.
I feel like that game has reached its peak because it's like not a lot of games you can play where they'd be like, let's play it again, because like either setup time is a lot or resetting it up. I think this is a beautiful game that like, yeah, you can, let's just play it again, let's just play it again one more time, let's just play it, let's see
Hmm.
if we, and to me, like that warms my heart. I'm like, oh yeah, that's your game, and it's the reason why we're in this hobby in the first place. Because it's like you want to play again, you want to play again for sure. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, 100% yes on this question. I'm pretty sure you're going with yeah, a lot of replayability for sure. It'll stay fresh, different ways. You said you can. Are we going more of the militaristic approach? Are we going this way? And there's different ways you can achieve victory, and
Hmm.
and in a strategy, you may even switch up mid game because someone else has full control of this. You're like, okay, well, there's no way I'm catching up to this, so I got to do this way
Yep.
now. For sure that way. So yes, definitely yes on that one. So we'll move on to the next question here, which you'll have extensive knowledge on, which is, does this game have a good setup time? How is the setup time setting this game up? Usually, when I ask this question, I usually like to time myself when if I have access to the game. I don't have
Hmm.
access to this game. Obviously, BGA just sets it up, so it's like a 2-second setup time. You're like, yeah, you're set up.
Yeah.
But What I like to do sometimes is like I'll time myself with like taking that out of the box, opening up the rules, and looking at the setup, and then just following it and seeing how long it would take. Um, but unfortunately, I didn't have access to that. So I'll leave it up
Hmm.
to your expertise. How do you think is the setup time with getting all the cards out, getting everything set up for each player? Is it a game that you are able to um, just take it out of the shelf and have some friends wait and you just set it up real quick, or is it a game where you're like, give me like before you guys come over, let me just set it up real quick so that way you can come over and we have it all ready because it's gonna take me a minute. What do you think? Is this a decently good setup time game? I don't know. You might have timed yourself maybe along the way, but it's up to you. But yeah, let us know. What do you think?
I haven't timed myself setting it up, but setup time is very quick and easy.
Mhm.
There are often times where we like finish like a bigger, longer game for
Hmm.
game night, and then we're like, oh, what's one we could do now? And then it's like, oh, let's do race. Go grab it
Nice.
off the shelf and then like bring it out and set it up to the table. My biggest complaint is that sometimes the starting world cards you have to search through the
Search
deck
them.
to like
Okay,
get all of those and then deal those out. But
got you.
that's like that's nitpicky,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
to
yeah.
be like, oh yeah, I have to go search for the starting world cards and then
Mm,
hand those out to the
for
players. But
sure, for sure.
otherwise, it's just quick, easy setup.
Okay, definitely. So perfect. Yeah. So yeah, definitely yes on that one. And I figured it would be because even with BGA seeing how it was set up, I'm like, oh, this feels like it would be a quick setup. Just set up the market, you would say, set up
Hmm.
this and get your starting hand, and that's it. You just start playing the game.
Yeah, and it's like you just put the deck out on the table. We don't even like like take the time to deal. Everybody just draws their hand,
Draws.
and then
Hmm.
then that's it. You're ready
You're
to
in.
go.
You're in it. Yeah, perfect. Yes, that's I love that. That's awesome. So yes, definitely a good setup time for that one. We're looking good. We've only had one no, and we're looking good with yeses. So I mean, we have one, two, we have four yeses. So we just got to get the next two yeses, and then it's a top shelf game. So
All right.
we're looking pretty hot. Looking pretty hot. I think this next one might be a yes for sure. Which is this next question is this game decently priced or will it break your wallet? Now, my definition of decently priced is obviously you're not going to find a really big game that's like $10. That's not that's very unless it's like a small
Yeah.
card game. That so when I say decently priced for all those listening are I like to categorize it from like $35 all the way up to like 80, 70, $80 range, I think is a really
Hmm.
good, decently priced game where you can get some good games. $100, 120, almost $200 big games esque of those are games that I'm like, let me think about it. Let me see if I really want to invest the time on this game, or let me see if someone else has it I can play and see if it's worth my time. I looked it up also on Amazon. It's going for $27.90. Walmart, it's $36.26. So me personally, I think that's a great price for a game of this stature. I don't know
Hmm.
if you want to chime in. Maybe you feel like maybe that bracket's a little too high. Maybe it's different.
No,
What do you feel like?
I think it's perfect. In my opinion, like
Yeah,
a game under $30. Like for me, when someone like likes a game and it's under 30, I'm like, oh, I can easy just
East. Yeah,
I
just grab.
can spend even under $30 on a board game.
Yeah,
That
right.
doesn't break the bank.
No, for sure. Yeah, Amazon $27. You can't beat that. That's a great game, especially for the amount of like the cards you're getting, the components, and like the replayability. I think that's a good, decently priced games. I mean, I've said this before, but like I've had games on my shelf where I'm like ashamed to even say how much I paid for it,
Uh-huh.
because they'll ask me like, "Hey, how much did you pay?" I'm like, So I have this other game. If you want, I'll just like divert the question away or something like that because I'm ashamed to say it. But I think this game is an easy game, and it's also a good selling point to be like, hey, this game's only $27 on Amazon. Go, you can snag your copy right now and grab and start playing if you really enjoy the game so much. And so, yeah, I think yes, it's a good decently priced game. Definitely yes, $27. You can't beat that, and
Hmm.
it's a fun game that you can play over and over again. So
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, that's for me, who has been enjoying playing this game for over 10 years. I'm like, yeah, $27 for 10 years of
yeah,
like
yeah,
fun and
you got
entertainment.
yeah.
There are ones that I've have spent much more money on, but don't get played as
Yeah.
frequently as Race
Hmm.
for the
Hmm.
Galaxy does. So,
I mean, it's looking good for Race for the Galaxy. Like I said, it's a game. It's cheap. It's a fun replayability. Like, what more can you want? Like,
hmm.
it's a top shelf right there. But we'll carry on more with the questions here. We're looking good here. Next question. We got two more questions here. And if one of these is a yes, then I mean we've already made it to the top shelf here. So
All right. Okay. I'm
here
in
we go.
suspense.
Let's hear, Kim. Let's see if we can get it here. The next question is: does this game have good game lore? Is this a game that can immerse yourself into this world of why are we playing this game? What's our objective? What are we doing here? Is this a game where you can take on the role playing aspect of the game a little bit? Again, comparing it to like maybe like House of Betrayal, House on the Hill, where you can dive yourself into this game because you're this investigator going inside this house and figuring it out. Or is this game kind of like subjected to like just a paragraph on the rule book saying, "Hey, you are in charge of the galaxy. You're trying to become the rules of the galaxy, and that's it. And then you just do this and this and this." And, is this a game that you can immerse yourself in, or is this a game where it's like, just you don't really care about the story. You're just trying to win the points. You're just trying to get this. What do you think? I think it's really hard to do that with card games sometimes because card games
Yeah.
are just play your cards and then you win the points. It's not you can't really dive yourself into this deep lore of this game. But I'll leave it up to you. What do you think? Do you think this is a game that kind of immerses you, or you're just like, I don't even know what the storyline is. I'm just playing this game to have some fun.
So this one's like a gray answer for me again because I think it depends on the person. I
Yeah.
think because I
Yeah.
think you could definitely just dive into what the
Mhm.
mechanics are for the game and just
Yeah.
like paying attention to the iconography and just not pay attention to the theme
Mhm.
of the game, and you
Yeah.
can play it and have
Yeah.
fun. But at the same time, you can also know that you are like racing for the galaxy and you're on this adventure of galactic discovery and you are going to the different planets, and some of the planets are the wind they're like old planets. I forget
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I forget what the terminology is, but
Yeah.
the cards, some of the cards have like a solid color background, and some of the
Right.
cards have like a ring around them to show
Mhm.
that those are like old planets that are like losing their resources and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, like for me, the theme carries through and it
Yeah.
feels thematic in that sense of
Yeah. Yeah.
we're going through space and I have these different things that I'm doing, and but I think it's actually like the lore of the game. I guess the designer initially was trying to bring this. This was like a proposal for like a Puerto Rico, the card game, I
Okay.
think,
Okay.
and it was turned down.
Um.
And so then the designer was like, "Okay, this is what I'm going to do with it instead," and he
Yeah.
created this amazing space themed game
There
instead
you
called
go.
Race for the
Yep.
Galaxy.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if I can answer yes or no, and
Yeah.
it might be hard for me to remove a little bit of my
No,
bias
for sure.
here.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I again, me, you said it. You said it perfectly when you said it depends on the person, right?
Uh-huh.
Gray area on this one. I want to say I want to give it a yes because like you can build like images off of like the cards that you have,
Yeah. Hmm.
but it's not very like you have to like kind of dive deep into your imagination to do that, and like
Yeah.
to like build it. It's not like given to you, which I would lean it more towards no because it's like if I'm trying to reach a storyline, trying to build a storyline, but also I'm trying to play the game, then it's kind of like not as immersive as much as I would say because I'm like trying to build more of the immersion myself rather than the game's giving me this lore that I can go with and run with and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. It's not like Betrayal or like
Right.
Nemesis. I feel
Right.
like that game is so thematic, and you are experiencing what it is as you
Yeah.
in everything that you do when you're
Right.
playing it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's why it's just like it depends on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I w-
if you're telling the
yeah.
story to yourself as you're playing versus the game
Game, yeah,
creating that.
yeah, give you that storyline. So
Yeah.
I would lean more towards like a very like a low no, almost a yes, because
Hmm.
you could grasp it with the cards themselves with the artwork,
Hmm.
but it's not like given to you because now it's like I have to create a name for this planet or I have to create a name for this army,
Right.
so it's like so I would go with a little bit of a no on that one. Again, it's up to you, Kim, if you feel like maybe it could be a low yes or maybe leaning towards the no. Obviously, it's towards us personally. We can come up with good lore, but if we're looking at it from someone that's
Right.
brand new,
So I guess like I think of it more as I do think of it more of a mechanics driven game rather
Yeah.
than like a thematic game.
Thematic.
So
Okay.
if I'm going by that answer, then I guess I would say like
No.
no, even though
Okay.
that like pains me a little bit to say
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I do feel the theme when I play, but
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
not.
It's like
It's
it's like not right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel you. That's okay. No worries. We just got one more question to ask, and then we can get it. And I think it's a good yes because you've alluded to it earlier in the pod. Which is the last question is: does this game have good turn pacing? Is it a good turn order? Is it a game that it's going to keep you engaged? Is it going to keep you going, or is it a game that if like let's say you're playing two to five, right? Five players.
Hmm.
Um, is it a game where like if I'm the fifth player, I'm waiting on people's turns, I'm gonna end up taking out my phone and looking at it and stuff like that? Or is this a game that no, I have to be engaged, I have to make sure see what everyone's doing. It's not a slow paced game. What do you think, Kim? I feel
Uh,
like we got this yes here.
this is a 100% yes
Okay.
because you are absolutely paying attention to because it's simultaneous action
Mm-hmm.
and with every action that everyone does, you all get to participate.
Mm-hmm.
So I am paying attention to what everyone else does,
Mm-hmm.
and you just go through and you resolve each of those actions, and you can
Mm-hmm.
choose to do the action or pass on it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no, the only like downtime would be maybe when someone is looking at their action cards and deciding which one they want to place. But
Gotcha.
that is compared to games where like it is turn based. It's like nothing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. No.
so it's super, and it is like I said, super quick. You play it, you can get a game done in like less than 20 minutes if
Yeah.
everyone has played the game before and is experienced, and you just
Yeah.
get I don't know,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's I think that's one of the most fun. I like it. Fun things about it is that you're constantly engaged
Yeah.
with everything, not just what you're doing, but with what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I 100% agree. Yeah, even playing for BGA, we were playing the live and we were all going at it. The only times we had to wait is when like yeah, cause when waiting someone to choose their action. But then as soon as that
Hmm.
goes, we're just go 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 go. We're running it, and before we know it, the game's over, and you're like, oh step, and then I'm winning, and I'm like yes. And no, I agree with you. It is a good game, turn pacing game. No phones needed. No phones required for this
Mm-mm.
game. You're going in there. And yeah, I agree with that. And so with that is the final question here. We did all 8 questions here, and looking at the score sheet, we did 6 out of the 8. So this makes it a top shelf game. Yes, there it is. Yes, I wasn't worried. I knew Kim was gonna bring it. You were gonna bring it. You got it. You got these questions. You're the master at this game. It is a fun game to play. I really enjoyed it from the 2 times I've played it. I keep saying 2, but I feel like I played it 3 times. 3 times. 'Cause I think I tried the first time with my buddy, ran it again, and then we invited another friend over that same day to play it as well. So we all played it. So I want to say 2 to 3 times.
Hmm.
It is a fun game. Again, if you're still skeptical about trying out this game or buying it or anything like that, find a buddy that has it and check it out, or add us on BGA. We'd love to play with you
Hmm.
on Board Game Arena to play Race for the Galaxy. I'm looking forward to playing many sessions with you, Kim, for sure.
Yes.
I'm always up for playing board games. I love talking board games, but I also love playing board games.
Hmm.
And so I'm always down to play on BGA or a tabletop sim, whatever you want to play.
My closing remarks are I guess I've already shared a lot about the game. I obviously love this game.
Yep.
It's so much fun, and I I'm like surprised when well, and to me, it just goes to show. Okay, so this is my closing remark. So this
Okay.
game was made in 2007. That's when it was released. So
Okay.
it is uh, almost 20 years old, I guess, at this point,
Yeah, it's
which
getting there. Yeah.
is crazy that
Mm-hmm.
we're already at that point.
Yeah.
Um, but we're constantly like, especially as like a board game content creator and
Mm-hmm.
working with Carly, we're constantly receiving new games and making lists about new games and focusing on what's upcoming and what's been released, what's hot on BGG. But I'm like,
Yeah.
there's still so many games that were made years ago that are still like worth playing and exploring and could have the potential to be a favorite game, and it's
Yeah.
are still like worthy of being in your collection and being played
Mhm.
again and again and again,
Right.
and still deserve to be talked about and played and in the hotness, even if they're not coming out in 2025.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Go check that game out. I mean, it'd be cool if they did like a good like revamp of it and maybe
Hmm.
improve it and you even mentioned there's expansions for this game, right? As well.
Hmm. Yes, yeah. And then
So
there's a board game version, which I actually think is Puerto Rico, but in Race for the Galaxy theme,
gotcha.
because
Yep. Yep.
they're like, oh yeah, Race for the Galaxy was a really good game, and
Yep. Yep.
maybe we
Yep. Yep.
should have done something with that. But
No. No.
uh,
Yeah. Definitely. No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm very excited that we're able to get this going, get this topic, this game out there for anyone that's not heard of it. I mean, again, uh, I've never heard of this game until you mentioned it when we were talking offline on Instagram, Kim. So I'm
mhm.
thank you first of all for introducing me to this game. I've never heard of it, and I've enjoyed it, and it's a game that definitely I'm gonna seek out and buy it physically so I can play with some friends,
Mhm.
and then play on BGA as well. It's such a fun game. I would definitely recommend it. It's a top shelf game, as you can see here. So no excuses, no excuses for you guys now. It's a game to play. Super quick game. I know BGA said it's like plays from like 30 to 60 minutes or something like that. But I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can get that
Yeah,
shorter and
yeah.
play it super quickly for sure. Ken, before we close it out, is there anything you want to plug in? Any more content, any projects you've been working on here? I'd love to post it on everywhere on our gram and post it any links. Obviously, I'm leaving a link below to your channel, so give her a follow for sure on there so you can get more board game content. Or is there anything else your projects that we've not heard of that we'd
Uh,
love to add?
sure, yeah. Currently, Carly and I we're currently filming our current top 100 board
Okay.
games. So we've filmed like the first 3 or 4 videos for that, and
Okay.
we'll be continuing to film for that. So I would say definitely keep an eye out for those videos and when they're being released,
Okay.
because we'll try to release them soon. We're
Yeah.
filming them right now. That's currently what we're working on, and one of the things I just mentioned, talking about like older games, one of the things that both of us are really enjoying about doing this list is that we get to talk about games that aren't being talked about like currently in the
Oh, okay.
board game scene,
Yeah.
um, and allows us to talk about games that we love, that are old or not hot
Yeah.
at
Right.
this
Right.
point. So
Okay.
definitely keep an eye out for those, and I think they'll be really fun, um, for anyone who wants to tune in. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Is that going to be on the YouTube channel, your guys' YouTube
Yes, on
channel?
the
Okay.
YouTube channel on Board
Okay.
Game Buzz.
Board Game
Yes.
Bus. Okay. So stay tuned for that. Is that like a huge video you guys doing, or going to do like segments of like different types?
Segments.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
every video will be like 10 games. So the first video is 100 to 91, and then
Oh,
we do 90 to 81, and so on.
awesome. I'm going to be definitely on the lookout for that, and be on the lookout for that as well. As soon as your videos start popping up, I'll start sharing them and start getting them out there so people can know and see what the top hundreds are for Kim and Carly. And very excited. I better see Race to the Galaxy on there. I better see that game on there, because we did a top shelf game, so it deserves to be on the 100 for sure.
Oh,
Um,
it'll be there.
There you go. It'd be like,
Spoiler, but
Carly, you have no say. It's going to be on there. Sorry about that, Carly. But Kim, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on this pod and talking with us all board games. I'd love to have you again so we can talk some more board games. I'd love to have you and Carly at the same time to have you guys
yeah,
on there if we
that
can
would
get
be
our
super
schedules
fun.
aligned. Yeah, it'd be such a fun one. In fact, I think we should do like the moon colony one, the one you were talking about, the bloodbath.
Oh yeah, because
I think
she's obsessed with it too, which makes
I think
yeah.
we should get it going. We should get it running and talk some of that and stuff. But Kim, again, thank you so much for sticking around. I know you're a busy woman. You got a lot of stuff going on. So the time that you took here, technical difficulties and all, it was still such a fun. I love that. I had a great time. It was a blast. I love chatting with you. Board games. I know. I'm pretty sure we're gonna chat offline more board games. I'd love to share some more stuff with you on there. But yeah. Guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. You guys can find us on everything. We're on Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, social, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you hear podcasts, or follow us on Instagram. Give us a follow and leave a comment and let us know, what do you guys think about Race for the Galaxy? Is this a game that deserves to be on your top shelf? Obviously, we proved it that it does. So if you say no, you're gonna have to fight Kim on that one on the comments, because it's a top shelf game for sure. But again, Kim, thank you so much for joining us here. Y nos vemos para la próxima.